Hello, welcome to the Do Business Like a Woman show, Monday inspiration for the female entrepreneur. And today I'm talking about what to do when you've bitten off more than you can chew in your business and life, and you are feeling completely overwhelmed. So, like, who hasn't been there, right? As business owners. So, it's interesting because, hi Rhonda, hi Kath, lovely to see you both. It's really interesting because our lives and our businesses are so intertwined. So I feel like we are so ambitious as female entrepreneurs. We want to do all the things and we have big hearts. We're multi-passionate, multi-talented. We want to reach and help as many people as possible. And often we literally say yes to all the things, all the opportunities. And then we look at our calendars, our to-do list, and think, how the hell am I going to do all this stuff, right? How am I going to fit all this in? And so this is really about how to deal with that. And with the really masculine energy way of doing business, it gets compartmentalized. So it's like, right, life is this box, business is this box, relationship is this box. But actually, that isn't how things work. And as women, we really, we feel it all. If something's going wrong in our relationship, it can be hard to focus on our businesses. If our lives are really busy and our home environment's difficult, it can be difficult to focus on our businesses. So this is really about how to manage all the things. So leave me a comment if you know what I'm talking about. If you have ever bitten off more than you can chew in your business, drop me a comment and say, tell me, let me know. So, I have this year taken on a lot in my business. So just to give you an example, because I do this all the time, this is me to a T. So, this year, well, at the end of last year, end of November, I bought my house and I moved in. And so what that's meant is that the whole house needs redecorating. It's now January and I knew that I was up leveling my business. Kath says she totally gets this. Hi, Alison. Great to have you with us. So, it was coming into the first quarter of 2020. I was ready to up level my business. I have a ton of things that are happening. We did the client getting challenge, which was amazing. So many of you on there, so many of you getting results. Now we're doing the Thrive Virtual Telesummit, which we've had some amazing women that I've been interviewing. It has blown me away, the caliber of women entrepreneurs who I've been talking to. And we've talked about all things like from feminine energy, rolling our hips in the chair, opening up to receiving, more income, more clients, all the things. We've talked about really being present on camera for your Facebook Lives and your presentations and how to do that. Again and again, the topic that's been coming up is bringing presence and awareness into everything we're doing. So like into our businesses, into our Facebook Lives, and often that looks like a pause, which I'm going to do right now. And sometimes on a Facebook Live, it doesn't feel too comfortable to pause. We're used to just talking, filling all the space. And so we've had the Thrive Summit going on. We've got the in-person meetup, which Kath tells me we need a better name for it, and I don't disagree. But we got the in-person meetup happening on the 7th of March in London. A lot of you have said yes already. There are going to be limited spaces for that. So I need to, really get you guys to kind of book in, and because we won't be able to have, there's going to be a certain size room, right? So I'll need to limit the numbers on that, and it is a free workshop. So more details about that soon. But all this to say, there's been a lot going on in the first quarter, both in my business and the goals that we've had for my business. And then also just with taking on a new house and, all the things. So it's due for a rewire. I've been getting new floors. It needs redecorating. Now, me being me and the kind of optimist confident type person I am, which if you're a female entrepreneur, you're probably the same. Drop me a yes if you are, that you tend to take on more than is perhaps wise at any one time. You tend to bite off more than you can chew. You tend to say yes to things and figure it out later. So, you know, for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get the house, I'm going to redecorate it, and at the same time we're going to be growing my business to bigger than it's ever been before, and we're going to be up leveling, and we're going to be doing a client challenge and a virtual summit for the first time and an in-person meetup for the first time. So like, just wanting to do all the things and the excitement of it, and it's great to have the movement and momentum, because prior to that, you know, there was, so I want to like think about how I say this, but very typically there's been some stuckness in the past, and these have been things I've been thinking about for a while and not doing. So it's great to have the momentum, but the other side of it is, as entrepreneurs, we don't always think ahead and map out, well, what will that really look like in reality to actually be doing all those things in the first quarter, and also to have a house that I'm redecorating. And you can make this fit to your own life. You might not be redecorating a house, but I bet you've got some other stuff going on in your life. Maybe you've got kids and family commitments. Perhaps you have personal things going on. Perhaps you're looking for a relationship or love, or dealing with some marriage things. You know, we all have stuff. So we're not always great as visionaries and entrepreneurs about thinking, what will that look like day to day in reality, and at the sort of bandwidth that things take. So for me, energy is a consideration. And I will say that all the stuff that's been happening in the business is giving me loads of energy, which is cool. But there's also a lot of demands on my energy too, and my time. And so, you know, not realizing just how much it takes to kind of coordinate builders and things in my home, and then all the pieces that come with creating a live virtual summit, an online virtual summit, I should say, and just all the behind the scenes pieces that really come into play. And so there's a planning piece for us here, and there's a kind of wisdom piece that comes from experience. But also what I really wanted to talk about today is just when it does get really full on, and for whatever reason we have said yes to things, and then suddenly we have a day and we look at our calendar and there's back-to-back appointments, and we look at our week and there's like networking here and driving to here and driving to there, and we're just like, how the hell am I gonna actually do this? And we feel like we could go into panic. We feel like we could go into overwhelm. And it's like appointment. And then we realize we've double booked something, or something clashes and we have to go back to someone and let them down or ask them to move. So that's what I want to talk about, like one of those moments, because they happen even if you are the most organized person. And I was interviewing, I'm sure she won't mind me calling her out. I was interviewing Louise Miller of Betty Lou for one of the interviews for the summit, and she was talking about this, and it kind of inspired me about really like mapping out our time and our energy. But even with the best planning, we all get times like this in our business. So what do we do when we have a look at our calendar for the day and it's like, one person can't even do all that stuff, right? Without letting anyone down, and while still moving forward and feeling good about what we're doing. All right, so here's the first thing that I want to say about this. Some days don't feel all flowy and easeful and graceful. Some days feel really, really full on, and we just get on with that. However, and here's the really key piece, what I have found is that it's on these days where we need to actually bring in more space. Stay with me here. I'm going to go woo-woo. You know me, this happens. So here's what I found. When I have a day like that and I feel completely overwhelmed just looking at the day ahead and I don't know how I'm going to manage, I ask the universe, I ask God, help me, help me with this. Like, what do you want me to do? How do you want this day to play out? I trust that the divine solution for this is already selected. I'm calling on divine order. Support me. I know that you support me, so I'm going to trust. And I'm just going to take the next step and the next step. And I'm going to breathe. And I'm going to lean back and take the space. And on these days, it's even more important to take the space. When you're rushing around and you're like, this was me this morning. I got up and I looked at my day. I was like, oh my God. And I got immediately was like in that frame of mind of rushing and overwhelm. And I came downstairs. I'd driven back up from Sussex the night before. So like a 6-hour drive from south to north, 7.5 hours by the time you add stops and traffic. And I'd driven up. I'd been down in Sussex for a friend's birthday. She's also a client, and for networking. So it was definitely something I wanted to do, but it was a big trip, took a lot of time out of my schedule. I also have a bunch of stuff going on in my business right now, launching the Thrive Summit. All this to say, I drove up. I got back about 10:30, 11:15 last night. This morning I woke up full on day ahead, and I didn't have any dog food. I didn't have any people food. And I had to just really make some decisions about how the day was going to run. And I got up, went straight into overwhelm, came downstairs, slightly stubbed my toe while I was trying to wash some dishes and like just get things ready. And that was my cue. I knew I'm not paying attention. I'm rushing. I need to slow down. Like, I'm human. I can't do everything. But I know that if I go into overwhelm and I rush, that's not going to serve me and it's not going to serve the day. So I stopped and I took a breath. And it's at that point I knew I had to do something to lift my vibration, because if I just went headlong into this day and this mad rush feeling, that was not going to serve anybody. And so do you know what I did? I took the dog out. I had a cup of tea. I wrote down my day as it was with the appointments. And then I decided, rather than rushing to the local supermarket to grab the can of dog food and what have you, and grab a sandwich or whatever, I was like, no, I need food shopping. I can rearrange one of my appointments so that all my appointments are this afternoon. Yes, it's going to be busy, interview, appointment, interview, meeting, but I can go to get my food shopping without rushing this morning. And do you know what I did? I went to Starbucks and I had my breakfast at Starbucks, and I sat and I did some of my work at Starbucks, and I gave myself that experience, and I didn't rush. I was like, no, I'm going to do this now and then this now. And then I had time. I went and did my food shopping, and then I was back in time for my first meeting this afternoon. And I knew this afternoon was going to be busy, but that was okay because I was topped up, I was ready, and I'm prepared to work this afternoon, and I'm up for it. And you know what? It feels good, and it's flowed much more easily. So the stubbing of the toe was just like a little nudge from the universe, like, you're not in the vortex, you're not paying attention. You need to slow down. Do you ever get any of these little signs? Drop me a comment and let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Like when something happens, you drop something, or like some little thing just to bring you back to presence, to slow you down. Do you know what I'm talking about, ladies? Drop me a comment. And so the day flowed much better. And yes, I needed to rearrange one appointment, and the lady was fine about that. You know, I used to have so much guilt about that kind of thing and feel that I'd really let people down, or that it was a reflection of me, that I was, you know, not good at this business thing, and all these stories. And actually, even the best of us have to reschedule and move things sometimes. So it's permission to be human and to approach it in a calm way. And to remember to breathe. One conscious breath often brings us back to presence. So Alison says she always needs good food in the fridge or she gets stressed. Exactly, Alison. I think it's like, for me, it's self-care. So knowing that I've got salad, I've got hummus, I've got fruit, you know, I've got some chocolate, because then I know I'm well taken care of. I'm not going to be kind of scrabbling for food or like reaching for something unhealthy because I haven't got my fridge stocked. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's one of the ways that we take care of ourselves and honor our energy in our businesses, because if you are up leveling in your business, you need to show up a certain way and you need energy for that. So taking care of yourself is non-negotiable. And I've got another interview with Louise Carden, the Queen of Calm, this afternoon. I'm looking forward to that one. And she is talking about why self-care is vital for your success as a female entrepreneur. Can you relate to this? Sometimes it feels like just another to-do, but we've totally reframed all that in the Thrive Summit. I cannot wait to share it with you. It's happening on the 10th of February. It's when it's launching. It's a free virtual event for female entrepreneurs who want to create a business you love without the burnout. And I have had some amazing women, so good. I've had Harriet Whaley-Cohen, Mel McIntyre, Melissa Matson, and so many others. And I've got Rhonda Smith this afternoon who I'm interviewing. You know what? These women are so inspirational. Many of them have built six-figure businesses. They know a thing or two about how to do this in the divine feminine way and how to really show up as ourselves and be the powerful women that we're supposed to be. And they have shared their secrets. We've talked about dealing with the inner critic, you know, and really how to cultivate the inner cheerleader, because often it's that voice in our own head that is getting in our way. We've spoken about opening up to receiving. We've got some practical strategies for how to deal with the overwhelm and the thoughts in our head and get really productive. And Louise Miller and I redefined productivity in the new feminine way. So you're going to want to catch that interview. I'll tell you what, I'll pop the sign up opt-in page in the comments so that you can sign up for that Thrive Virtual Summit that's coming up. Can't wait to share it with you. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And so it's handing it over to God and the universe. And then also, of course, there's a planning piece. There's a piece where through experience, we get to know, well, you know, maybe it's a little bit much to do all those things in 1 month. Or maybe if I'm buying a new home that needs completely renovating and redoing, maybe I need to schedule a bit of space around that, right? And okay, like that's in an ideal world, and often it doesn't pan out like that, but we can learn and we can make those tweaks for the future, because here's what I know. None of us are perfect, but we are all moving towards our juiciest vision for our lives and business and what feels really, really good to us. So it's always about tweaking. It's always about trying things. And please hear me on this. It's about taking imperfect action, not having it all perfect first, but jumping in with the mess and understanding that sometimes we're going to have to say, I can't deal with that now, or I can't do that now, but that the important things get done. And we take the imperfect action, and then we learn and we tweak and we say, that was a bit more than I can chew. Yes, that did tip me towards overwhelm. How will I do it differently in the future? But here's also what I know. Female entrepreneurs who create successful businesses and have fun in the process, because that's what we're all about here at Do Business Like a Woman. We do this not by going into overwhelm. We learn a different way. And I have seen women and worked with women who were so busy, as in they weren't busy like some people are just busy for the sake of it. What I mean is they had a lot in their calendar. They had a lot of stuff going on. However, they were not overwhelmed. So really hear that. They had a lot in their calendar and they were taking imperfect action, messy imperfect action. They were willing to do that and show up not perfect, but they were doing the important things. And they weren't letting themselves get bogged down in, what they haven't done, or, oh my God, there's just too much, I can't handle it, I'm going to go into overwhelm and freeze, because that can happen. We can actually go into a fight, flight, or freeze reaction when we feel overwhelmed. And this is why interrupting the thought pattern is so important, because overwhelm is a thought pattern. You know, if there's some action that needs taking, like moving an appointment or actually communicating that we're not going to be able to do some stuff, that's okay. The action can be taken and we can learn what we can actually fit into a time period. But we don't need to go into overwhelm about it and fear. And if you feel that happening, I invite you to stop, take a pause, take a breath. One conscious breath, it only takes a matter of seconds. Or go get a cup of tea and just see how that shifts your vibe and your energy. I'm going to wrap it up today because I don't want to go on too long. But before I do, drop me a comment and let me know if this was useful for you. What was good about what I said? What was good about what I said? Leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. It's all about you, right? This is your show. Make sure you're here on Thursday. I'm going to give you a really practical business tip to help you move forward and get some more clients in your business. Kath said she heard this great thing recently, body first, business second. Oh, I like that, Kath. Yeah, because unless we are listening to her, our body, we can just be in the head, and that causes a mess in my experience. So I love that. Body first, business second. Yeah, it's nice. And here's what I know: when we're embodied and present and we have our awareness here, and we're fully showing up and we're listening, do I need to take a breath? Do I need to go outside and have a walk around? Do I need a cup of tea or some water? When we're listening to our body, we show up so much better in our business, even on the days where we do have a lot of appointments and a lot of things happening. So let me know how that landed for you, ladies. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to say lots of love, and I'll see you at the same time on Thursday for the business tips. Bye for now.